Frequently, there have been, and often, glass ceilings for anybody who doesn't match that status quo. And with each of those glass ceilings, they are meant to be broken. So historically, with our students with special needs, we have limited to teaching them functional skills. At least since I've been teaching, it has all been academic skills. And so we're looking at how do these things intertwine. Reading one and writing one's name is a great skill to have, but should that be where we stop? Reading a fast food menu's words is a great skill to have, but is that where we stop? And how do we take those skills and how do we branch out from them? How do we generalize them and make sure that the student is able to apply skills that they learn academically into functional skills? Also, we permitted students to participate alongside their peers, but the academic progress that they were making and that we were requiring and asking for was subpar. Not in all cases, but in a majority. I remember as a person that was in many IEP meetings determining a child's placement, whether that was self-contained or gen ed, frequently teachers would talk about the academic ramifications while the parents would talk about the social implications. We're looking through Project Impact how to have time with gen ed non-disabled peers to be academically advantageous as well as socially advantageous. Across the country, research is smashing through these glass ceilings and showing that these students are capable of doing and completing and having these skills. In the video below, you can see a group of students working in a self-contained setting, learning a book and reading a novel, which happens to be Peter Pan, as well as that student going into the general ed classroom, answering similar questions and being a part of the group and making achievement academically. And we're not saying the achievement has to be the exact same as their peers. We know that they have an IEP, we know that they have a disability, but progress can still be made in that setting. There's alternate ways to achieve in literacy. You can see in the video above some students that are in the general ed setting that have IEPs. And being able to pick out which one has the IEP. As you can see in the video, these are examples of inclusion classrooms where students had a peer support. But they also, not only did they have the same book that their peers were reading, but they had an adapted book that was able to be read before class to prep them for their lesson. It also provided supports and different prompts and cues that would help students when answering questions and staying engaged in the activity or lesson. Some of the goals for alternate achievement in literacy are comprehending passages of connected text, not just reading one thing in isolation, but connecting it to other things that they have read, looked at, experienced. Apply this comprehension across both narrative and informational text. We want our students to not just be reading fiction and not just read nonfiction. We want them to be able to read both, have an understanding within both, but also to make connections between the two. I know so often in my class, if we had something fictional, we had connected articles that either were current events or something in history to make that connection. We also would have informational text about the student that would draw in their attention and make it specific to them. The other goal for alternate achievement in literacy is continuing to improve reading and writing skills. We can see and we know that reading and writing are tied so closely together. And when you improve one, we look to also improve the other.